Hello, everyone. Hope all you lovely people are happy, healthy, and smiling in 2022. Welcome to another episode of Know the Happiness How with Winco Chau. I'm your friend, host, and resilient lifestyle strategy coach, air veteran Winkamanu Satyeni Chauhan, aka Winco Chau from Bangalore, India. Picking up from where we left in the series of Happiness in 2022, in this episode, we take our journey a little further, digging deeper into the need of happiness, its constituents, pursuits, etc. etc. So let's jump right in. I, like many of us, have always pondered over the physical, biological, mental, and emotional aspects of happiness. And like happiness within you, or does it really have to be sought from the environment around you? Is it inside you, outside of you, basically? And is it temporary or is it sustainable? Is it contentment with what you have, or is it an aspiration that you desire or you want to acquire, or what you want to possess? Is it the happiness, or is it an act, or is it an input required for a task, or when attempting a task or doing something? And or is it everything or that is sought to do these tasks? Is it a destination in the journey, or is it the outcome of the journey, or a byproduct of the lifestyle that we live? So do we really need to work towards being happy, or is happiness ensued? So my endeavor to seek many such answers has been the journey which I'm currently on. And I really haven't found the conclusion yet. I have arrived at certain certain datum to answer these questions, and quite a few most essentials that have eluded me and many around us due to our own limited or knowledge, paucity of time, and most importantly, awareness, understanding of human behavior, yet uh, coupled with a very important factor of kind of being ignorant and having a cliched mindset, like what I know is better and is enough for me to sail through this life. So I also feel that we in some which way are victims of victims, and it is largely because of our priorities, or priorities of our predecessors or their predecessors, who were really unaware of these answers. And like I said, uh, maybe the main reason being their priorities or their emphasis at that point lay way too low, uh, as in terms of seeking these answers, rather than meeting the basic needs of safety, security, stability, certainty. And I'm afraid to say that this was, or rather this ignorance was the one which kept us exploited in the past, and is still being done so by quite a few vested interest in the system, be it social, political, religious, or educational. At this point, I would like to just mm, speak about a minute, or tell you a story of ignorance. All our lives, I have found that at least I and people around me have been ignorant as a child, ignorant while growing up, ignorant as parent, ignorant as a responsible citizen quite sometimes, ignorant as learner or a student, ignorant as a teacher to impart this knowledge. And thus we kind of form a community, or we kind of end up giving rise to an ignorant society. That's society which was ignorant at the time of our ancestors, and continues to remain somewhat ignorant and all this class that I have spoken continues to really not work, or maybe look at the needs which are real near at this moment for them, and it must be right. Like I say, there's nothing right and wrong, so it must be right for them. So I want to dig on this ignorance aspect, and those important aspects of who we are, uh, where we are, and what is our being. Why were we born, and how are we born? How do we grow physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? What we're thinking, what we're learning, and how we gather our information. How do we process it? How do we gain so-called knowledge? Or simply put, the whole idea of living life is what I kind of want to talk about when I'm talking about the why of happiness. And there could be hundreds and loads of examples that I would want to give. But have we ever thought that this constituent of health that makes us happy? What exactly is this? This physiological body. What is it? Is it really that trillion of cells, or are we God's children, or are we just an energy powerhouse? Whether it was being born, how does it happen? And while we keep growing up, there are so many questions, there are so many things happening around us. As a kid, I was always told, rise early in the morning, say your prayers. Not really everyone around me was able to explain or give me an answer as to why and what does it do. So people say, don't curse, don't lie, or don't do things which probably you carry on yourself as a burden. uh, but hardly anybody has explained as to what really happens inside your body. What is the chemical fallout, or how does it manifest in my body? So there's so many answers, talking about love, talking about what harm does hate do to us. What is respect? So these are so many questions. What is completeness? What is fulfillment? And what is happiness? So all these answers are required to be sought if you are seeking to be happy, or if you even feel that the happiness would ensue. Yet you have to know. I know that there are times of scarcity, and our priority definitely lies somewhere else. Yet it is important to be aware, to be conscious, to understand, to as to living life is how I grow up, or how I let the environment around me grow, or the people who are attached to me, or people who I'm related to, and I love, I care, or I feel happy or sad about. How does my happiness affect them? So all this will happen only uh, if we realize, before our time is up. And sometimes it may happen that you don't realize it, and you may exit this beautiful creation of this magnificent world without really knowing where we are headed, or what we missed. So whether you do something in your life, or whether it is your focus or not, but the focus should certainly be of being aware. Where what am I doing, and what is the resultant? Or it should be an informed decision. Or I mean, I would not want to be ignorant and oblivious to the facts around me. So the choice is with us. So going further, and coming to the subject at hand, is why do we need to be happy? And I certainly, and I remember I've spoken about the four basic pillars of need, and what we need to understand, that when we probe this happiness, with this basic questions of why around these pillars, why I need a happy family, um, why I need a happy environment around me, my friends, my family, or my workplace. I have to understand that I can't remain happy all the while, and to kind of have a sustaining happiness, there is certain need or certain understanding which is required of me as to how does this happiness or why does this happiness affect me and this world. Why there are certain things which motivate me to do something for self, family, and society. Having understood that, to stay happy, there is need to stay healthy and be secured, financially, monetarily, economically, and maintain a relationship and a lifestyle which is of some quality. And as we go along, we will understand why is that we need to kind of have sustainable health or wealth or relationships or a lifestyle which can give me a wholesome happiness. Yeah, I have to understand what is my purpose of what I'm doing, to do what I'm doing, or what is the reason for me to rise and shine every day. Once we understand this why of happiness, we would it would be easier for us to understand what is needed to be done to achieve that and how. So the answer to the why of happiness is that, like other physiological, biological, mental, and emotional spectrums of our life, happiness has bearing over us, and it is an essential requirement to live life. It is that vibrational energy which bonds and connects and with the other living being around us, and it is that bond or that probably the community ownership that is very important to build around us. Besides that, another important aspect and much needed aspect is that of calm and peace at mind. Peace at whatever that I am doing, peace at what I'm eating, playing, being happy, peace at bringing positivity and generosity, peace that curbs my overthinking and rumination, keeps me stress free, maintains a better immune system and health. It increases my creativity and increases productivity. Coming from that creativity, it creates opportunities for me to appreciate life and find joy, success in the profession that I am, in the occupation that I am. It helps me build and strengthen the relationships around me, brings a meaning and purpose, brings me to kind of engage with people around me and engage with activities and experience certain things from those activities, from those circumstances, from those events happening around me. And very importantly, it boosts my resilience and helps me problem solve, help me troubleshoot. So it is, if this element of happiness is taken out from our lives, what I feel, we would be kind of lonely, depressed, physically not all that well, and emotionally kind of weaker, maybe languishing in some corner, missing the beauty of this magnificent life. I keep repeating that, but I can't really help there. So this happiness is derived from where? It is, to me, it is derived from the goodness of mental, emotional, physical, acts of doing good things, whether it is living a healthy life, living a good life, eating good food. It may be your favorite, it may not be your favorite. Wearing good clothes, deriving pleasure from life's luxuries, if I may say, having family and friends, and having good people around us for us to share that bonding, share that love, compassion, and maybe have a hearty laugh or lean on a shoulder, have certain moments of joy in the nature, maybe watching that lovely sunrise or that setting sun, just looking at the birds, listening to them, watching the watching these raindrops fall, smelling them falling on that soil or that earth, that rustic smell. So appreciating all that, scenic beauty and the creation of God around us, experiencing that bliss. So, and let me tell you that this is the happiness which starts from happiness and ends at happiness. So you have to do certain happy things to be happy, and then come out happy. Like I keep saying, be, do, have. So you be happy, you do something happy, and you attract something more, which is happiness. Yet there is another kind of happiness, and yes, I'm talking of that happiness which necessarily doesn't start from happiness, which maybe starts from a pain, pain of probably going through those negative emotions quite a few times when during the long enduring pregnancy that one has, or carrying the child, delivering a child, or think about a mountaineer who works very, very hard at his mental, physical fitness, and goes through that tremendous risk of braving the odds in the nature, braving those icy winds, braving those snow blizzards, or crevices, or that tough, rugged terrain in order to scale a peak. Or talk about an athlete or a sports person who trains really, really hard for months and years all together. It is mentally, emotionally, physically, you go through so much of rough to kind of come out a winner in whatever event that you're participating. It could be a marathon, it could be a triathlon, it could be a cycling event, it could be a national event, it could be an international tournament. So and yes, another pain of being a sports fan. Have you ever seen the emotion with which a fan is supporting their team in through an event, or in the event when the team is low, and the emotions that go through? So, and simple things in life, like pains of earning a livelihood, running a business, working for a company, working in a profession, putting up with probably some arrogant or self-centered, boastful, pompous colleague or bosses. So, and yes, there are pains of parenting. So it's not easy. Yet, yes, talking of parenting, there are pains of making a relationship work. Pains which really kind of bring you down sometimes. But at the end of the day, they this feeling which comes being from this creativity, or from being productive through a challenge, through maybe arduous task of cooking a meal, baking a dish, writing, painting, blogging, or for that matter what I'm doing, making a podcast despite being a little bit under the weather. So there is enough data for this kind of happiness which comes from pain, which comes from people losing quite a bit in their lives, yet at the end of the day feeling that satisfaction, that contentment, that accomplishment, that fulfillment, or that feeling of completeness or bliss. So it is for these emotions or feelings, the why of happiness is very important in our lives. This happiness quotient gives people, uh, that creativity, that productivity, and that success. And yes, most importantly, that longevity of quality life. And talking about Okinawa in Japan, which has given us a concept of ikigai. People live long, healthy, happy lives there, and happiness. So much so that Bhutan has recognized gross national happiness as one of the measures for kind of evaluating the country's growth since 1972. And even the UN understood this, and UN General Assembly passed a resolution in 2011, with the support of other member countries, to kind of look at happiness as holistic approach to development. And the recent report of 21 released by the UN Sustainable Development Solutions rates Finland and other Nordic nations, I mean, kind of following Finland's suit, like Iceland, Denmark, Switzerland, Netherlands, Sweden, followed by Germany, Norway, and so on and so forth, to kind of look at happiness being one of the quotients in terms of their development. And sadly, India, which is such an old civilization and has a rich cultural heritage, ranks dismally 139 out of 149 nations listed in this world. So with that, I think I have done enough to shed some light on the why of sustainable happiness as an integral part for our overall growth, resilience, and success. So this is where I leave you for the week to ruminate. And it really, I must tell you before I go that feels very nice to get a compliment or two or encouragement from you, even if there are suggestions and some criticism for us to improve. I would certainly take them to be incorporated as we keep growing and sharing our thoughts with you. And one of the suggestions that came to me was to make these videos in the Indian national language or my mother tongue, which is Hindi. Yes, I'm certainly comfortable there, although it's a difficult language. But I'm very excited to, give it a shot, and will certainly attempt to do that. And very soon you will see that we would have some videos in Hindi for us to connect with the audience, which is comfortable in Hindi medium. So with that, till I meet you again and share much more on the what of happiness next week, take good care of yourself, your near and dear ones, look after your people around you, your work, your relationships, and yes, live a very happy, quality, healthy lifestyle. Times are very challenging, so take good care of yourself till we meet again. This is your friend, coach, and host, Wing Commander Satyendra Chauhan, aka Winco Chau, signing off. All right. Cheers.